What do you got, Coach? 3 things that all coaches need. Who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of coaches?
New York or the Aces? Definitely going with the Aces.
All right, 4th down. Who has the tougher job, coaches or officials? If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? For Texas, it's different. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Coaches Co-op, where coaches connect, grow, and share the grind. I'm your host, Coach P. My government name is Michael Prejean. Each week, I'm teaming up with coaches across the country to break down the wins, the lessons, and everything in between. This week, I'm teaming up with Anthony Gonzalez. Anthony is the husband to Tika and the father to Kyler and Kaia Gonzalez. He is beginning year 12 in education, going into his 9th year as a head coach, all in his hometown of Hearne, Texas. He was the head girls basketball coach for 7 years before switching over to the boys. Last year, Coach Gonzalez is devoted to helping people because he knows what people have done for him. For those of you who are watching or listening, y'all put your real hands or your virtual hands together for Coach Anthony Gonzalez. Coach, how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Coach, man, thank you for joining us here in the co-op. All right, Coach, so listen, you're a family man, an educator, a coach. You wear a lot of hats. So how do Tika, Kyler, and Kaia influence your coaching? And then how do you protect that family time during the grind of the season?
Man, so my wife and I just celebrated our 7-year wedding anniversary 2 days ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But we've actually been together since high school. And so it's kind of like we've grown together, but she also knows what she's gotten herself into also with me. Because I've kind of always been the same guy. You know, I love sports. So being the family guy, you know, I always said I'm going to work with other people's kids. I'm going to make sure I'm going to give my kids the same amount of attention, if not more, when I can. So especially got to take care of the wife, you know, because without her, you know, those kids aren't here either. So I'm definitely grateful and thankful for all 3 of them. Anything significant has happened in my life, especially with my wife and since the kids have been here, I make sure they're a part of it. Like simple bus rides to the playoff games. Like I don't want my wife on the highway. I want her with me, and my kids are with me. So not only do they like daddy is the coach, but they're also I want them to understand like daddy always brought us with him. So, you know, because I know coaching takes a lot of time away from them as it is, but I'm thankful for all 3 of them that they understand. And man, I'm just hoping to these next, you know, couple years as the kids are growing that we can continue that kind of family tradition. And I mean, I spent so much time in the gym, you know, that they're there with me. So I'm thankful for them.
That's good. That's good stuff, man. That's one of the things I wish I had done more. My I can't call them kids anymore. I got adult children. But that's one of the things I wish I had done more was kind of bring them into the gym with me a little bit more when they were younger. Okay, so read your bio, okay? And your bio includes a very powerful line. You says, I am devoted to helping people because I know what people have done for me. Coach, paint us a picture of who those people are and how they shaped your coaching approach.
Man, it's honestly too many to name, and I'm gonna miss people, but I married into a family of educators. I come from a big family of my dad has 5 brothers and 4 sisters, and you know, and they all had a lot of kids. So aunts and uncles one way or another paved the way for me, showing me what love looked like. I had mom and dad, but they divorced when I was young. So I still had mom and dad just at separate times. But on my dad's side, with the bigger side of the family, we just as a kid, my aunts, uncles, dad, everybody showed me how to be loved, tough love. Growing up with sometimes being the smaller cousin out of all of them, getting pushed around and beat up, but it was
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
reason. And as I got to high school, and life starts changing a little bit in high school because either the real world, which is a job, or college is next after that. Kind of is where people started coming into my life. I had my high school basketball coach, who I'm sure we'll talk about him more later. Had plenty of great teachers. I just running into different people. Like I said, I know when you find a mentor, you really don't look for a mentor. Somebody mentors you, and at the time you don't really know it. So I've kind of had a lot of those in my life, whether they've been related to me or not. So man, I've got too many to name that's kind of helped pave the way to get me to where I'm at today.
Okay. So before we get into talk that talk, so now you are actively mentoring other people who may be aspiring coaches, and I'm sure you're mentoring younger coaches as well, passing on that legacy. So before we get to talk that talk, what is the most crucial piece of advice that you would offer to a new coach stepping into their first time head coaching role?
Take the good with the bad, because it won't always be bad.
That's good.
and
That's
and I
good.
say that because as a coach, man, we always have a plan. We always have a plan, but everything don't go according to that plan, and so it's kind of like you can't crumble. You're gonna get down, but you can't get too far down. I know we try to say we stay in the middle as much as possible, but man, a big playoff win, it puts you on a high. It puts you on a high, but you got to come down quick. And if you a tough loss, uh, you can't stay down on it too much or to linger on to the next couple games, if you have any games left in that season or into the next season. So man, you got to take the good with the bad and just roll with it and just take it. Everything is a lesson. So whether you win that game or lose that game, you're going to take a lesson regardless.
That's good. That's good. I think it was Mike Tyson who said, we all have a plan until we get punched in the mouth.
Yes, sir.
So in coaching, young coaches, new coaches, be prepared because the punch in the mouth is coming.
Yes, it is.
It's definitely coming. All right, coach. This segment is called Talk That Talk. So what I want you to do is I want you to talk about all of the good things going on in your program, in your athletic programs, in your building overall, and just going on in Hearne, Texas.
Yes,
So
sir.
Coach Anthony Gonzalez, I want you to talk that talk about Hearne, Texas. Go.
Man, we're coming off of a state runner-up year. We lost by 4 in the state championship game to Waco Meyer, and we've got a good amount of those kids coming back. And we've been in the weight room grinding all summer. They've been grinding all summer, man. We get some skill days, but we want to get stronger right now. In these summer months, we played summer league. They end up going undefeated in summer league. And I told them there's no trophy for that. We're just there to get better. But seeing them play summer league, seeing the commitment, the dedication, the buy-in, the positivity that they show around each other when we get in the gym or in the weight room, man, it's exciting for me as a coach because we know where we came from in March and how close we were, and so it's one thing as a coach we always want it. We always want to win state. We know we want it, but for those high school kids and those teenagers to realize, like, man, we was right there. They kind of just rode the wave, and now there's a want to it. There's a hunger to it, and so I'm excited for that. And as far as like in the community right now, man, we've got a real big church camp. I call it church camp going on this week here in town. Hearne's a small town, but if you ride by the church down the street, you see a lot of cars out there, and a lot of our kids are participating in that. So definitely exciting to see that.
That's good. That's good. So for those who may not be familiar, Texas is huge, but we've had guests from California, different Kansas, right? Different places. So where exactly is Hearne, Texas?
So we are about 25 to 30 miles from College Station, where Texas A&M is located. We're not far from the University of Texas. We're about an hour and 10 minutes from University of Texas. So we'd be considered more Central Texas, but we're right here. A lot of people cross through here and don't even know it. And I was going to Houston and I passed by the McDonald's in Hearne, or I was going to Dallas and before I got to Waco and I had to pass through Hearne. So a lot of people go through here that call us the crossroads of Texas.
Okay. Hearne, Texas is the crossroads of Texas. That's good to know. So now that I've met you and knowing Chip, I need to make my way to the crossroads.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I need to make my way to the
crossroads.
We'd be
more than happy to have you anytime.
Okay. Hearne, Texas. So state runner-up last year. So when did it first click for you that coaching was your calling?
It didn't really click till I got ready to graduate from college with no plan. I was one of those people. When you come out of high school and being one of the first kids or people that graduate from your family who was big from college, it's like nobody knows what to tell you because they haven't been there, and that's when I started relying on people that kind of helped me as I was going through college and stuff. And I was getting ready to graduate. I was like, man, I'm finna get this degree, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. In high school they tell you go get a degree, but then they don't tell you what to do with it.
Right.
We think when we get a degree, it's an automatic. Well, I'm gonna walk in the job and I'm getting that job, and the world don't work that way. So it was a few months before I graduated. I was like, you know what? I think I want to go be a coach, and this is me talking without knowing that the teaching responsibilities of it. And I had coached a few, little dribbers teams or a summer league team here and there without the intent of, without knowing I had the passion to coach. I just always knew I loved being in the gym, whether I was playing or not. And so, like, a lot of times I feel like I don't have a job right now. Like, it's something that I really love. Like, you put me in the gym all day and we're going to give me 4-year-olds, give me 5-year-olds, give me 6, give me 10, give me teenager, whatever you want to give me. And either we're going to play or we're going to work one way or the other.
Yeah. All right. So you're in the classroom. It's hard to prepare somebody new to education for what happens in the classroom. Okay. So talk about your first high school coaching job. What was that experience like?
It was different in many, many ways because I had never planned on being a girls coach ever.
Okay.
And so God's plan is always going to be bigger than our plan. So I was sitting down. I was a assistant for 3 years on the boys' side, and just sitting at the district meeting with my coach one night, and then our girls coach at the time, head coach, he tapped me on the leg and was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna be leaving. I think you need to give the girls a try." I was like, "Well, I do know some of the girls, and I do think they are. I'm not talking about talent yet. I'm talking about they're really good girls." And
yeah,
so I talked about it with my wife when we got home, and she was like, "Give it a try. You want to be a head coach anyway." And so, man, to even make it through a season for me as a girls coach was completely different. But then to see the success that we had for 7 years, and all credit to those girls that we had, man. It blew me away. And I see, like, you got to pinch me now to tell me, like, hey, did you know y'all won district this many times, or y'all went to the state tournament? Like, man, I still talk to those girls these days. Like, I seen one earlier, and I love them to death. But man, that first year was rough because number one, you have a head coach that does not know what he's doing. He thought he did.
Yeah.
Now I could put you a great practice plan together, but it wasn't making us better to play in the games.
Yeah, that's good.
I can put at that time we look really good doing some drills, but when it got time to go live and in action, like, man, coach didn't have them prepared. Now we did make an increase on the win total they had from the previous season, and we had a lot more girls playing, and it was a very, very tough district too. Like, I think out of the 4 teams out of that district, 4 of those teams were top 20 in the state, and the fifth
Wow.
was probably right outside of that district. So it was tough. We ended up winning like 3 district games that year. A lot of growing pains that we didn't know it was going to help us for in the future. But man, probably one of the biggest learning experience for me as a coach was that first year.
That's good. That's good. So learning experience. Now, if you're listening or watching, so he talked about the learning experience. He talked about the toughness of the district, only winning 3 district games that first year, but he led this program for 7 years. Okay. And that 7 years also included a state tournament appearance. Okay. So 7 years with the young ladies. So tell me, what was the experience that helped you change, right? Because you talked about I could write a great practice plan, but it didn't translate to game day. So what was it that happened that got you over that hump and went from 3 wins in district to a state tournament?
Number one, the lessons in losing, and then the hunger to want to get better as a coach. As far as, okay, we're struggling breaking the press, we're struggling running offense, we're not playing very good help side defense. So I had to get my butt to clinics. I've always been a pretty big reader. I read a lot of books. I had to study what other teams were doing that were successful on us, and also looking at film of things that we did well with the girls that we had coming back. And so just that first year building, and then into the second year, it was funny because that second year we finally got into the playoffs. And the last time our girls program had been to the playoffs was when I was a freshman in high school.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I think it was, man, when I was with the girls, man, we had a lot of firsts. Like each year we were building. It was like first time for this. The next year was like the first time in this 20 years. And it was just a first for every time. And like I said, credit to those young ladies. And like I said, for me, man, taking those losses as lessons and building from it, and not pouting about it and staying tough on them. Because one thing about a girl, and I preach this to them every day, that I told them, one day y'all are going to have kids or y'all are going to be in a relationship. And I said, a man can leave the house. I said, and the woman's going to make sure that house is taken care of. Let the woman leave the house. And I'm talking about myself. This house won't be, it'll be clean, but it's not going to be as clean as my wife can get it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so I would always preach that to them. And so that would be just to handle your business. So they started doing that all season. They were committed to coming to the gym, to the weight room. Like, I'm at a 2A, so we don't have just 80 kids here, 80 kids there. But we had to, from the weight room we had to separate our workouts from the boys because we had so many girls showing up, which was a huge plus for us.
That's good.
And then just get to the gym every day, ball handling and shooting. So those girls bought in. And like I said, we had a lot of firsts in those 7 years on that side of the basketball program.
Outstanding. So 7 years, you lead the girls program. And then after 7 successful years, you make the switch back to the boys side. Okay. So what inspired that decision? And then what has this transition, now that you're a few years in the game, what has this transition taught you about yourself?
So it's funny how it happened. People would always ask me, man, when are you going to switch over to the boys? And that was once I got the program rolling, I was like, man, I done put in too much time,
Yeah,
So the boys job opened up a couple times when I was on the girls side. And I always thank the administration for always thinking of me. They would bring me in like, hey, do you want to make the switch? Because a lot of times we're gonna have a lot of athletes here on the boys side especially. And so I was like, no, it's not time. And in the time I thought about it, I was like, no, because my really good core of girls were going to be juniors. I said, man, I can't take that job yet because I'm not even leaving to another school if I was to take that job. Those girls would look at me upside down every day. And so I did. The boys coaches that came through here would always ask me, like, hey, coach, anytime you want to help, come in. But I would go in there and learn. Like, I was always thankful that they would like, hey, coach, come in. If you want to help run some stuff here and there, you're more than welcome to. But I would go in and learn. Like, so if you let me into your practice, I'm going to learn something. And when the transition happened, when they finally asked me, do you want to take over the boys program, I was like, I think that'll be a good time because my son Kyler is 9. He's getting older. He's been with me since he was 2, and he's kind of hanging more with the boys now because he's getting older. And I was like, I think now's the time. And I did it. And this first year, I mean, if you were to tell me my first year being a boys coach that we were going to go to the state championship game, I'd take that. And it was just weird because nothing about my habits changed, nothing about my scheme changed. If anything, the guys made it look a little better. And of course, you got to have the personnel to run what you want to run. But I've learned a lot, and those girls taught me. Man, I was put in that position for a reason to coach those girls first because they taught me things that a boy would probably never teach me. Number one was the patience. And so, and man, while I'm talking about it and thinking about it, man, I want to. I become a big fan of your podcast once you reached out to me. And man, Coach Goffney, man, I played against Coach Goffney when he was at New Waverly.
Okay.
So to hear his story, and rest in peace to Coach Goffney, but to hear his story, that he started with the girls, I didn't know that. And so as a young coach, to know that, man, that's I had plenty of battles with Coach Goffney and his guys in New Waverly when I was a player. So,
okay.
I know I got off topic. I told you I was a rambler.
No.
He want to give him his flowers anytime I can with his name out there. He's such a great coach, man. And every time I seen him, like at coach school, I would holler at him. And he remembered me, and he said, "If you need anything, man, just let me know." So for me he coached girls 5 years, man. I did not know that. So
listen, so my sons are now adults. They're 26 and 24.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I started before I coached at any level. I was coaching at the YMCA on Ella Boulevard in Houston. Coach Goffney was in there coaching at the YMCA on Ella Boulevard. That's how I first met him.
Okay.
Right. That's how I first met him. I knew he was coaching at New Waverly. I knew they were tremendously successful. Mm-hmm. Right. But I really got to know him much better when he came to Westfield, man. So the fact that you mentioned him today, man, is outstanding, man. Coach Goffney, outstanding guy.
Yes, sir.
I came across something today, man, where somebody mentioned him on social media. So you're the second person that's brought him up today, man. So we're going to shout out to Coach Goffney, man. May he rest in peace. Love to his family and all of the people who were inspired by Coach Goffney, man.
Yes, sir.
Here's another thing. Here's a challenge. If you think you can coach, if you really think you can coach young women.
Coach them.
Coach young women. That you're gonna find out if you coach.
A young male at that. Start with the girls.
That's it.
They'll teach you so much. They'll teach you that it really is much more than the game.
Yes.
And while I'm on that, my wife and I. So Kyler is 9, and we had a miscarriage. Our son Kaia he probably would have been 6 or 7 now. And this is what girls do for you. We were about 5.5 months pregnant, and the doctor told us we were going to doctor in College Station. He had told us, he's like, hey, he probably not going to make it through the whole pregnancy. You can keep trying if y'all want. And so we was like, we're going to try. We were praying. So we had to go to Dallas once a week, and that's about a 2.5, 3-hour drive from here. Had to leave the house at 5 a.m. every morning. And so we ended up losing them a few weeks or about a month after that. And this is right when basketball was starting. Was that my second season as a coach, and my house is not far from the school. And the next day after we was in the hospital in Dallas. We lost our son, and then we got home. Of course, my wife was resting, and about 1 or 2 p.m. the next day, while school is going on, I get a knock at the front door. My whole team of girls, and I still have it, brought me a huge card, and just some feel good stuff for me and my wife. Of just losing our child, having a miscarriage, and that right there, that sold me right there. So man, girls, they care on a whole nother level once they buy into you.
Very, very true. I have 2 biological sons and about 12 daughters, none who are biological. but about 12 of them. And not because I adopted them, it's because they adopted me. They
Yes,
adopted me. Listen up, y'all. We'll be back in the convo here in a second, but here at the Coaches Co-op, we're all about building championship level systems on and off the court. This episode is brought to you by this book that you need in your collection. It's The Path for Coaches, Volume 1 Mentoring, because iron sharpens iron and real growth happens when coaches support other coaches. So if you're looking to level up on your team culture, if you're looking to fine tune your playbook, if you're looking to learn something about mentorship or just stay motivated through the grind, go ahead and check out The Path for Coaches, Volume 1 Mentoring. You can get it at Amazon.com. It's The Path for Coaches, Volume 1. Coach Gonzalez has a chapter in the book. Yours truly has a chapter in that book as well. We're going to talk about the book a little bit more in just a second. All right, let's get back to it. You are in the Coaches Co-op with Coach Anthony Gonzalez. Been to the state tournament 2 times with his teams from Hearne, Texas. Once with the young women, and then this past season with his boys team. All right, Coach. Let's talk about, let me see, I underlined something in here in your chapter. Coach McGrew. Let's talk about Coach McGrew a little bit. All right. So Coach McGrew was your head coach in high school. You say he saw something in you that you didn't see. So I wrote a little note in my book here. So my question for you is, what did Coach McGrew see in you that you didn't see in yourself?
Man, he brought out a toughness in me that I did not know I had. I mean, he rolled me. Coach would be on me about any little thing, and I was like, Coach, man, I don't get in trouble. I'm passing. All he wanted was just that extra from me that he knew I had in me. And so when I think of how he coached me, which was tough love, I mean, he'll jump you in practice, but if you need a ride home after practice, he'll take you. If you needed just somebody to talk to, he was available. And he's one of those guys, and I kind of got my work ethic from him as far as, taking care of myself before the work day. That dude would be in the weight room at 3 or 4 in the morning, and he would go lift or he'd go do something. And we know that coach we knew he was up. We knew he was walking those hallways. And so we would never do anything crazy because we knew he was going to know about it. And that guy, like I said, he pushed a different kind of toughness out of me that I didn't know I had, and a different side of a competitive level out of me that I didn't know I had.
That's good stuff. So let me ask, was Coach McGrew from Hearne?
He is from Hearne. He played in the NFL. He had a short stint in the NFL. Played at North Texas, University of North Texas. So, and we came back, and then he was the head boys basketball coach for 10 to 12 years. I know when I came, my freshman year, I believe that was his second year as the head coach.
Okay. So you're coaching in your hometown in Hearne, Texas, right? That's rare in some places. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say it's rare in all places. So it's like you're getting a chance to watch kids, getting a chance to coach kids that you watch grow up. Does any pressure come with that? Is there some hometown pressure that kind of comes with that?
I think of that sometimes. I haven't felt it because I've enjoyed it. And I'm one of those coaches that I like to watch film with the voice on because I want to hear what the people are saying, and for me, it's not to prove a point, but like I said, we're a small town, so a lot of us are family, or it's people that I've married into, it's my family on that side now.
Yeah. And
I'll see them at the family reunion, like, hey, that game against so-and-so, when you said why we weren't doing this, and so for me, I feel like I'm the cheerleader of the team that I love, but I actually have a say-so. And so, can there be pressure? Yes, it can. But when you're enjoying it, if you want to be great, there's going to be pressure. So I feel like there's pressure there. That's an opportunity to be great.
Man, I love that. That's a great perspective. I'm a cheerleader, but I also have a say so. I love that. I love that. Listen, let me go ahead and put this down here on the screen. I need y'all to go and follow Coach Gonzalez on X or Twitter, whichever one you decide to call it, at Ant11HT. I'm pretty sure that HT stands for Hearne, Texas,
Yes,
baby.
sir. Yes, sir.
There it is. All right. You can also go and check him out on Facebook, Anthony Gonzalez. And then let me get this on the screen again. Listen, Amazon.com, The Path for Coaches, Volume 1, Mentoring. You need to get a copy. Coach, what was the writing experience like, writing your chapter for The Path for Coaches?
Man, it was the timing of it was weird to me because so when Coach asked me, it was February, and I was watching film, getting ready for the playoffs, and I was like, yeah, of course, because I bought plenty of his books, and I know what kind of person he is. He gave me my start in the profession, and so when he asked me, I was just humbled by it, and I was like, yeah, I'm on board, and so we made the state run, and then I hadn't really tuned into the project yet. And so once I tuned into the project, man, I felt like I was back in college trying to write a paper. So it took me days, it took hours and days and just kind of going over it and looking at something I wrote and scratching it off like, no, that don't sound good. And then going back and doing it again. It's just a constant project. And it had you thinking about the people that helped me, especially with the title of the book was the mentoring. And kind of like,
sir.
you think about a mentor, like I said, sometimes you don't know you're being mentored because people pour into you. And if they're pouring into you, they see something in you.
That's right.
Nobody's going to waste time if they know you're not invested in it or they can't help you. So the project was definitely I'm thankful for it. And it was challenging, but I'm glad that we went through with it.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, Coach, check this out. What is one of the hardest things about the profession that people on the outside don't know?
Man, dealing with high school kids' emotions. I'm big on knowing the parents of my kids, whether that's a good or bad thing. You don't know what they're going through if you don't get to know them and their family. And
yeah,
I think of, I always say, I don't know if I'm a coach in Hearne 10 more years, if I got 1 more year or 5 more years, we don't know what our path of route is. But for sure, we can plan on being here. But I said, wherever I'm at, I'm going to get to know that kid and their family as best as I can and that background as best as I can. But being from here, I kind of have an advantage with my kids that I have now. So dealing with their emotions, if something bad happens, small town, to get around quick. And it gives me a chance to check on that kid. And I've had unfortunate experiences with, kids having bad news. And that there's also an opportunity to show the kids how much you care because it don't always have to be about basketball. And and anybody I've coached, they understand it then and they understand it now because I hold word to that. I'll check up on them. The ones that have had kids now, like, hey, how's your baby doing? How you doing? If I can help them find a job, I will help them find a job. So with me, it don't just start and end on the basketball court. So it's just kind of dealing with those emotions on a daily basis.
That's good. That's good stuff. I tell you, it's not always about basketball. And here is the mistake I made my first year as a head coach. I'm laughing thinking about it because I was like, you know what, man, I am not dealing with parents. I was like, I'm going to deal with kids and I'm not even going to worry about it. Man, that was the biggest mistake I made, right? Because of course, they're at school with us, we practice, and then they go home to who? The parents, right? So it's one of the biggest mistakes I made. So it doesn't have to be about basketball, but building those relationships, not only with the kids, but with the families is super important. Okay, Coach. So what is one of the easiest things about the profession that people on the outside don't really get to see or know?
Is there one?
Right. Right.
I'll say one of the easiest things is once you do get those parents bought in and those kids are bought in, the easiest thing is it's kind of like the the communication part. Like once they understand, like man, coach has your back for the betterment of the team and for you, and so they kind of have your back on if you have any issues with the kids. So
Yeah.
there's not going to be much on the easy part of it, but that's if I say anything easy is once you do something, which is establish that relationship with the parent and the kid, there's potential to kind of that could be one of the easy things about it.
That's good stuff. Good stuff right there. All right, check this out. If you were not a coach, what would you do or what would you be?
You know, my wife and I were just talking about this the other day. She knows I've learned to talk with people, but I said I would love to be a barber. Uh, they deal with all kinds of people throughout the day. Number one, you know, I love getting my hair cut. I probably go once a week or once every 10 days with my barber, and we have a great relationship. But the different kinds of people you get to talk to, different kind of conversations you get to have, a lot of knowledge are in those conversations when you meet with people. So that's something that I would definitely I wouldn't mind doing is being a barber.
Let me ask this question. So the barber you go to, do you make an appointment on an app, or do you kind of go in the shop and you sit and wait till it's your turn?
You're gonna make me tell him myself, but I'm supposed to do it on the app, but he tells me to text him whenever I'm available. And, and he will work, you know, he'll work me in, and he's especially in season, man, he's good. He was like, hey coach, let me know when you need to come in. He'll stay late for me or go in early for me.
Yeah.
So it's been one of those things like relationships are everything, you know, and how you treat people are everything.
That's it. I tell you, man, the one thing I miss underneath this cap is no hair. There's no hair under here. So man, when I tell you, I envy, I don't envy much, but man, people with a nice head of hair, they can go to the barbershop. Man, I am so jealous because I miss that camaraderie.
It's something about the barbershop.
Something about the barbershop.
And when I go in there, people can, you know, come in just to come and talk, you know, and so
yeah.
It's just something about the barbershop.
Man, I miss that. All right, coach. Who has the tougher job? Who has the tougher job? Coaches or officials? What you think?
You know, you made me think about that one, but man, I'm gonna say officials. We both have it tough, but I'm gonna say it's hard to ref a game. And I would always say, try to ref a few games, even if it's just like a summer league game, little dribbers game. You're always gonna have one coach upset at you, I guess you can say. You're always gonna have one side of the gym mad at you with the fans that are losing. So I'll do my best to stay sane because I know how hard it is for them. I don't want to say that our job is easy in any manner, but man, those guys, and you got to think as coaches, a lot of times we have time to think. Those guys got to make a call, or it's got to be at that. They don't get 5 seconds to say what was the call.
Yeah,
you know, so it's tough on those guys. Like I said, one of the coaches is going to be upset at them by the time they leave, and one side of the gym is going to be mad at them by the time they leave.
That's it. Listen, coaches do not have an easy job. I have been fortunate to officiate some basketball this summer, right? Mm-hmm. Make a little extra change. So the first time I went, I was like, oh my goodness, I could have blown my whistle every trip down the floor. Like literally every trip down the floor, I could have blown my whistle, right? So I got a chance to officiate 13 games. And when I tell you, man, my appreciation for the officials has multiplied exponentially. Because I've been chirped at by people sitting in the stands. Mm-hmm. I've been chirped at by the coaches. And when the coaches are chirping at me, the first thing I'm thinking is like, man, coach, you can't see that from there. Mm-hmm. You didn't see what I saw. So I'm, you know, of course I'm talking to myself because I'm like, oh man, that's me. I was that guy. Let me not be that guy anymore. Coach, man, that is good stuff. Coach, play a game with me. Play a game with me if you will. What you think? You down for it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, man, we're going to go 2 rounds of like rapid fire. Okay. So the first round is going to be agree or disagree. Okay. I'm going to throw some stuff with you. Tell me if you agree or disagree. Then we'll go round 2. Round 2 is going to be like either or type questions. Okay. You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
All right, Coach, we're going to go agree, disagree first. Agree or disagree. A great player can make a good coach look brilliant.
Agree.
Agree or disagree. A great coach should be the loudest in the gym.
Disagree. They don't always have to be loud.
Very good. Love it. I love that. Agree or disagree. Coaching in your hometown is harder than coaching strangers.
I have to agree/disagree because it kind of depends on the situation. You know, I can't tilt it one way or the other. There are advantages to it, but there are also disadvantages to it. You know, so because you get the parents, oh, coach gonna handle it. You know, I went to school with coaches. Like, no, I need you to handle that one. You know, like
Yeah.
So and then with strangers, you know, it's like, you know, I don't get to meet many because I'm from here right now. But like I said, if I was ever to go anywhere else, the same love and care would travel with me. But that's a question. It's kind of like I'm right in the middle on that one.
Okay. Let's kind of stick with that theme. Agree or disagree. Small town coaching is the purest form of the profession.
I'm going to agree because we have to squeeze everything out of those lemons to get that lemonade. You know, so numbers are not at a 4A, 5A, or 6A level. That doesn't mean that there's not talent because we've got plenty of talent at the 2A level. But you got to find those athletes that you got to find that football guy or that track guy that can help you in your press or your rebounding, and get them to make a layup. And so, you know, that'd be how to answer that question right there.
Okay. Let's do one more question in round 1. Agree or disagree. A coach's family sacrifices more than the coach does.
Agree.
Yeah. That is, I agree with your agreement. I came home one day and my wife told me, man, this was a complete game changer for me. She said, basketball season is hard on this house. And I was just like, damn. That's all I could say. I was like, okay. I was like, you know, man, complete perspective changer.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
Coach, that was round 1. Let's go to round 2. We're going to go either or right here. Either or. So I'm going to throw out 2 things. You choose the one that you think is best. All right, Coach, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Film study or practice?
It depends on what's going on in the season at the time.
Okay. Early morning practice or late night film study?
Early morning practice.
Big win at home or upset on the road?
Big win at home because our fans, they're loud.
Okay. Old school hustle or new school analytics?
Old school hustle.
Team meal, you going with pizza or barbecue?
With my kids and for me, pizza.
All right. Pre-game speech, post-game speech?
Pre-game.
Zone defense or man?
Who we playing?
Oh, I like that. All right, two more. Timeout. You going to take it with 2 minutes left or you going to save it for the final minute?
If I can save it for the final minute, I'm going to save it. If I have to call it, I'm going to call it.
Okay. Last one. Ugly win or pretty loss?
Oh, ugly win all day.
All day long. So going back to the timeout. So I'm officiating last night and this one team goes on a run. The game, it's like they were down 2, then they get up 10, and the coach doesn't call a timeout. You know, he doesn't call a timeout. So we get to halftime and they're down by like 16 then. So, you know, as officials, we're talking about it. You know, we're like, you know, we were kind of waiting on him to call that timeout, you know, and he didn't call that timeout. So, you know, we were just kind of having a conversation about when do you call the timeout? Do you call them early? Do you call them late? What do you save them for? So it's good stuff right there. All right. If you are listening or watching, you are in the Coaches Co-op with Coach Anthony Gonzalez of Hearne, Texas. You need to get at him on X at Ant, that's ANT the number 11 HT. What does the HT stand for, Coach Gonzalez?
Hearne, Texas.
Hearne, Texas, baby. Or you can find him on Facebook, Anthony Gonzalez. Not only is he a coach that has gone to the state tournament 2 times, he is also a best-selling author. He penned a chapter in the book, The Path for Coaches, Volume 1, Mentoring. You can find that book on Amazon.com. I highly recommend it. These are the words my father said. My father bought the book. He read it. He said, this is not just for coaches. This is for anybody who mentors or leads people. Mm-hmm. So my father said it's great. My assistant coach said it's 5 stars and 10 out of 10. You need to go buy the book, people. Coach Gonzalez, we are in crunch time. That means we're down to the last 5 minutes of this podcast episode. All right, so crunch time goes like this. It's 3, 2, 1. We go 3 in the key. 3 things all coaches need. 2 shots, 2 of the most foul things you've experienced in the profession, and then and 1. 1 thing can be anything that you want to share with us before we exit. Coach Gonzalez, let's go ahead and go with 3 in the key. What are 3 things that all coaches need in their toolkit?
Man, patience, perseverance, and this one's kind of 2 in 1, but a commitment, dedication.
There it is. Coaches, you need patience. Now, if you need to develop your patience, coaches, go work with some young women.
That's it.
Work with some young women.
Patience can be developed.
That's right. That's right. Have that growth mindset. That's a good list right there, Coach. Patience, perseverance, and commitment/dedication. All right, Coach, this brings us to 2 shots. What are 2 of the foulest things you've experienced in the profession or in your role? What you got for us?
Man, number 1, I remember we were building a program with the girls. It was our 2nd year. It was year 2 for us, and we played a team who was really good. We played with them till probably about the middle of the 2nd quarter, and then they ended up just blowing us out. But then they continued to run the score up, and I was like, "Come on!" And it's kind of taught me, I'm not one of those coaches that likes to run the score. But if we can get 100 the right way, good. Now we're not gonna stop scoring. I may stop pressing you. And if we're just in the zone or playing half court, man, I'm not going to tell my kids to stop playing. But, they kind of full court press us almost the whole game. And it is what it is, I'm not soft about anything. But I was like, man, y'all are up by 50 already. You see y'all are way more talented in the season than we are right now. And I'm glad we was able to get some of that revenge back 2 years later when we played that team again.
Oh, that's good stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. What else, Coach? What's the other one?
Man, another one is a kind of a 2 for 1. Man, I lost the year we went to the state tournament. I lost one of our, and again, this is just how it happened. Nobody did anything to me. Or one of my starters, she tore her knee up early in the season, and it just took a toll on me because how much work she put in, and I know how bad she wanted it, and what she meant to the team. I mean, she was crying, and after she got the results from the doctor about a couple weeks later and told the team, I let her tell the team, they were just crying. That just showed you how much love they had for each other.
Yeah.
And they stepped up, still got to, didn't get that gold trophy at the end, but got to the state tournament, and they all got to experience it together. And she was right there coaching with me the whole year. And so I just hate that it got taken from her like that. But, hey, it happens. And she's doing great. She's about to be at Baylor this coming up year. So, man, those losses are lessons.
That's good. That's good, man. I tell you what, that is injuries take a huge toll.
Yes, sir.
Not only on the individual, right? But they can take a huge toll on a program. All right, Coach, this brings us to and 1. 1 thing, this can be anything that you want to share before we exit. What you got for us, Coach?
Man, continue to grow. Put the right people around you. Again, like I said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for great people around me. Every staff I've had, as far as assistants, they've been great. I don't do this by myself. I have assistants that everybody has a role and everybody has a job. I'm the overseer of everything in case questions need to be answered. But you got to keep great people around you outside of the job and at the job, which is your coaching staff. So just make sure you keep great people around you.
That's good. That's good stuff. Listen, if you're not sure how to keep those great people around you, or who those great people may be, or what the attributes of great people are, damn. The Path for Coaches, Volume 1 Mentoring. This is a guide for you. This is a guide for you. So y'all go ahead and purchase that thing. Listen, thank you for joining us here on the Coaches Co-op. Big thanks to Coach Anthony Gonzalez. Let me put his contacts up on the screen one more time at Ant11HT. That's on X or Twitter. On Facebook, Anthony Gonzalez with an S, not with a Z at the end, with an S at the end of it. All right, listen, big thanks to Coach for sharing his journey, for sharing his wisdom. If you are walking away with new insight or energy for your team, for yourself, or for your program, then we did our job. Hit that like button, follow, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review. Your ratings and your reviews help other coaches find us here on the Co-op. Share the show, help us grow the co-op community. And remember, coaches do what most people can't. Coach Gonzalez, I'm going to get us out of here, but hang back with me for a second. Listen, y'all, make sure that you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Until next time, y'all be easy. For Coach Gonzalez, I'm Coach P. Until next time.